2, 1.
And we are live. Welcome to the Eat Well Move Well radio show. My name is Damien Porter. For those who don't know me, I run eatwellmovewell.net, and lucky enough to be on the show on the DRN One Life network once a week. And I'm really excited about today's guest, Matej Varhalik. Great to have you on. Great to see you again. We don't get to see each other much anymore. You're a busy man, and as am I. So welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you so much, Damien, for having me.
So for those that haven't met Matej, he is the co-founder of Speedfit, and this really interested me. And wow, Matej, I looked at the bio. That's 2013 you started.
Yes, it's been a couple of years. I think I know you. I'm sure, like from 2014 or something. I think we kind of met very early at our journey because we were always looking how to partner up with some people to pretty much advance our clients and get them better results. But yeah, it's been a journey. So now it's 8 years since we started with Speedfit.
It's really cool. It's just really, isn't it interesting? Time goes so fast. And I brought up the Speedfit website and I was quite astounded. It's great to see success because a lot of businesses, especially in the health and fitness industry, they really start up with a bang and fall over. But yours has just grown. And that's why I wanted to have you on here, speaking about what you do with Speedfit and how it benefits people. And it's obviously successful. So and I have to congratulate you on that. So well done.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's a bit of journey, a lot of work, as you know, behind. But if you have a good product and you kind of stay persistent, eventually you'll get there. So yeah,
it is about that. So let's get right into it. Speedfit. I'm going to give the listeners and the viewers a little bit of a background how I looked at it, and then I'll let the expert, which is you, speak to people about it. So I first became aware of electrical muscle stimulation with Dr. Terry Walls. Again, I'll just paint a picture for everyone there. Dr. Terry Walls was a doctor, or is a doctor, and she was unfortunately diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And her health degraded to such a degree that she was in an electric reclined wheelchair. Went from a normal running person to, and I don't remember the time frame exactly. I think it was over a period of 2 years. She was unfortunately confined to a wheelchair. Very, very poor health, and it wasn't looking good. That diagnosis obviously was progressive. She decided, okay, I've done all the treatment, it's not working. She went and studied everything on multiple sclerosis, and long story short, healed herself, but her body was degraded because she's in a wheelchair so much she needed some help from a physical therapist in the United States, and that physical therapist used Russian EMS system there to help her just get off the bed. That amazed me, and then I started looking at machines, and they were very expensive in Russian. And then I heard about Speedfit. I was connected with Roland. I believe you guys were the co-founders, and I went along, and it was really cool. So that's my background on EMS. Can you tell me how you got started, and what is Speedfit and what is EMS?
Yes, amazing story, and that's exactly highlighting one of the benefits of EMS. So Speedfit combining this technology, EMS technology, with personal training. I came across EMS back in Slovakia. I'm originally from Slovakia. So Russians and Germans are kind of the pioneers of EMS. I think it was kind of first used in Russia to kind of help to maintain muscle mass by astronauts up in space. And then the Germans kind of took it into like really good customer use-friendly technology, what we know now and see in studios like ours. For a long time, they've been using it as a tool to enhance the athletic performance because, as you know, it makes people getting faster. It's triggering the fast twitch muscles, and there were so many other benefits to use this technology behind the scene or very specific training methods. I've seen this technology probably back in 2011, 2012. I injured my back. I'm professional in sport, in handball, European handball, and I was always very fit until I kind of stopped playing, get on with the business and the rest of the things, get overweight, get injured. I didn't have the time to go to gym. And then when physio told me about this technology and how I can apply this into my training, it helped me to fix my lower back in the first place. And then when I was looking for changing my lifestyle and become much more fit, I realized that EMS is really effective technology that I can combine with my training, and I can save myself time. And that's what I was after. At that time, I had my first daughter born, was just about probably 1 year. I had the businesses to run. So typical person who kind of wants to spend time with the family, wants to spend time with wife, with the kids, but also want to be successful and provide for them and have time to run the business. I didn't see myself going back to my old days when I used to spend 6-7 hours in the gym running around. And EMS was a perfect solution for that. And then I kind of just thought that there's many people like me out there, and it would be great to build a business for them. And that's how the Speedfit started.
Awesome. So let's paint the picture. And I do it with all my guests. I'm lucky to literally interview the best people in the world at what they do, which is I still astounds me. So let's paint the picture of EMS. So we've talked these fancy words and then acronyms, but what is it? Literally, when I had talked about Terry Walls and the Russian stuff, it was literally sticking electrodes all over the body and electrocuting yourself. So what does it look like? If we paint a picture there, what happens when you go in your studio, and what does this look like doing that exercise?
So how it started, as you mentioning, so probably for the audience who are listening, and when they are kind of in our age as well, they might remember those 90s when you have this teleshopping thing and people get something like around their belly and they're watching the TV and it's shaking their abs and making their abs of steel by just watching the TV. It's kind of started there, I will say. Like the basics are there. You usually have like small pads or more kind of like a suit which has the electrodes on it. And by putting that electrodes on a specific part of the body, what it does, it's kind of creating that through the conductivity, it's sending electric impulse and triggering the nerves the same way as you will kind of trigger and thinking that you want to lift by lifting the weights. Instead of lifting the weights, pretty much it's take care of your muscle in a way. It's contracting the muscle, and you can move that electrodes as you want around your body. And that's how you kind of contracting the specific muscle group as you need. Obviously, as it's spreading around, you also have the benefits to go much deeper into the muscle than in conventional exercise. It's much faster, so you contract much more muscle fibers than in conventional training. So there's a lot of benefits of that. But just to understand the technology, is usually the small pad or kind of device that you can place on specific part of the body. Obviously, this technology has so many options to be used. You can use it for a muscle recovery. You can use it for becoming stronger, faster. Some people are using different frequency to treat the cellulite. So the device itself, it's quite universal. It depends what frequency we use. That it depends which muscle fiber and how we kind of targeting and what benefits we're getting out of this technology. At Speedfit, we're obviously using almost like a whole body suit to target 95% of the muscles. And we're using two settings. One is improving the strength, and the other one is improving the metabolism as a cardio kind of function, which is with lower frequency. So this is what we're doing in Speedfit, but the technology could be used for different varieties of the injuries, for example, as well.
Yeah, that's what I liked when I came in for some workouts, was literally just put on a vest, zip it up almost like a life jacket with the electrodes already pre-attached. It was really user-friendly. Put that on, and it was a hell of workouts. I mean, we're both former professional athletes. It was a hell of a workout, but user-friendly. And I love the part that you're taking through it step by step. It was very clear, very simple to follow, and as the name suggests, Speedfit, it didn't take too long. I do remember not being able to walk properly for about 3 days. It was deep. You said deep stimulation. This thing, people, it's a tough workout, and you can grade it though, which I loved. I think it had to be 2 people at a time. So there was me beside a granny at the time, and she was working hard at her level, and I was working hard at my level. So it was really graded well. It was very clever.
Yeah, it's amazing that you can adjust the levels as you describe. Obviously, we at Speedfit, we're focusing more on this general public, and we found our niche to really take care of people like I mentioned that we're kind of like at my level, that they don't have a time to go to gym, or they don't want to get to the gym because they might not like it, or there are some sort of health restrictions. They might not get they need to get low impact exercise. They went through some injuries and they're not comfortable to be around the gym, and they don't have their correct technique and so on. So with the way how we design the workout, we can really help them and improve their health and well-being. For athletes or for specific, like when you were kind of sore for 3 days, that's perfect example why we're not going for like really heavy like professionals or people who are serious in exercise, because EMS will knock you out for a couple of days, and usually those people wants to go to the gym more often. They would like to go traditionally way. They would like to go, okay, I want to have my leg day, I want to have my back, I want to have my chest, whatever, or they kind of want to be active every day. And with EMS, it's not ideal scenario, because the intensity of the workout is very, very strong, and you need to have at least, they recommend 72 hours for recovery that you get to do it again. So that's just not working with a typical professional athlete regime.
Yeah, I understand. But and isn't it interesting? You mentioned, you talked about athletes, but we're really talking about gym people, and gym people aren't so much athletes with doing chest day and back day. And really, the research is going away from that. I interviewed Professor Scott Stevenson on this show, interviewed Christian Thibodeau, and really it's the full body or at least half body and workouts, and doing them more frequently, but not as hard. Back in my day, Matej, and we're talking years ago, literally I'd be doing 20, 24 exercises for chest alone in one day. It was the Schwarzenegger style, and unless you're on heavy steroid use, it doesn't work, and you're sore for like a week. And they're now going, well, that's probably not the best practice. Science has now evolved to match, to catch up. Exercise science has evolved, and it's looking like that full body or at least half body. And, I train 4 times a week, but my training is around about 20 to 30 minutes, which is not what we did for those 1 or 2 hour workouts. Again, it's what I love about Speedfit being pretty short. So how long is your workouts for your clients in the studios?
So the workout itself takes 20 minutes. It's designed around what is needed and how efficient we are. As I mentioned, the reason why we set up Speedfit was the lack of time and kind of improve the efficiency. So we're trying to be as efficient as possible. So clients usually coming for half an hour appointment, they get their pre-workout drink, they get a post-workout drink, they get changed, and then the exercise itself takes 20 minutes. To be honest, the science behind the EMS, the way we're using it, you will reach around 96% of your full potential in 15 minutes. But to advertise the whole body workout once a week for 15 minutes, it's not the best way. So we extend it to 20 minutes, and it seems more reasonable. But the science behind actually says the muscle fibers get tired. They're not powering anymore as much as they would. So after 15 minutes of the proper EMS, you're pretty much getting to this 95% of utilization, and the rest of 5%. So it doesn't help you to stay on the machine for 25, 30 minutes. You're not going to get any extra benefits.
Absolutely. Isn't it funny, media and belief versus what the actual science shows? I'm as agnostic as they come. Whenever I put something out in a teaching format, it's what the science shows, and not opinion, because opinion's fairly irrelevant for someone like me. But people talk to me about high intensity interval training, and always a lot of the time on social media we communicate there, and they do their high intensity interval training for 20 or 30 minutes. I'm like, no, that's medium intensity. I'm pretty sure high intensity interval training, you will not be able to run more than 20 seconds because the highest intensity is a sprinter. So just what you're saying there, 15-minute workout, that's what the science shows, but the general public can't grasp it's that effective, that short, but it is. You need to merge like the commercial and marketing with the science to be like commercially successful. Unfortunately, that's exactly what it is. And I 100% agree with you with this high intensity interval training. I went to see some of the brands when they're promoting it, and you can see the audience, they're dragging their body after like 15 minutes, and they watching the clock and imitating some sort of movements, and they feel like they're doing 45-minute high intensity class, 100%. And that's the difference with Speedfit. Like once we hook you up to the technology,
this number of muscle contractions going to happen if you like it or not, and they're going to happen in the same like a power or strength as we set it up, and we actually eventually increasing it, because then pretty much your tolerance is kind of decreasing, so increasing, so then we can really actually power you up as you go, opposite the conventional high intensity workout where you pretty much start on a peak, and then after, as you said, like 5-10 minutes or whatever, you're slowly going down.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? I talk about communication and education, and it's no good having an amazing product if people won't actually use it. So, for the listeners, we're not talking marketing from the sake of trying to sell you or convince you stuff. We just want to get the message there. And it is about messaging and education. But that's the strength of Speedfit literally since 2013, and it's 2021 now. It's a good product, and that's really all you got to do is you got to have a great product that people want. So give them what they need, which is what you're doing. So let's just move on a little bit to comparisons to other exercise, because we've explained what EMS is, how it looks in the studio, generalizations around how effective it is. But let's compare it to other exercises. So let's think about a heavy weight in the gym. We're moving barbells around and things for, say, 40 minutes, 60 minutes. How does it compare to those other exercises science-wise?
So to be honest, there is not as much science on a lot of different exercises. There's just usually you need to have like massive groups of people and so on and so on. There are basic studies comparing with kind of like a strength, how you can be faster. I think the most common one that we using for our target audience is exactly comparison of this 45 minutes high intense interval training session, what we just described. It might not be, but generally that's how they call it, 45 minutes of high intensity interval session versus Speedfit type of exercise for 20 minutes. They ran the study in Germany when they compare the participants. It was for 16 weeks when they kind of run participants doing 2 to 3 45 minutes of high intensity interval training every week, and then the other group was doing 3 20-minute sessions a fortnight. So we're kind of comparing 4 to 6 45 minutes of high intensity interval training versus 3 20-minute sessions every fortnight for 16 weeks. And when they run the results at the end, the results in some aspects were better for high intensity, in some aspects were better for Speedfit or for EMS training when we're talking in general. The conclusion was that they are both equivalent to what they do, and the results were very comparable. The difference was obviously saving time on the EMS part, but the results why they couldn't say which one's better. And that's what we kind of using for our general public, that when we targeting and marketing to them, saying, look, we can give you the benefits of high intensity interval training in much shorter period of time without any risk of injury, which is big thing. And that's where we found our niche from commercial point of view.
I always take the notes in my interviews. They're always super organic, and was the thing I put down was risk. And that was risk of injury. So it's amazing that we went there, because, hey, I'm an old guy, 48 years old, and I'm still trying to keep up with these young people, and I do get injured. That's happens. So, yeah, risk of injury. Let's talk about the reduced risk of injury of literally stimulating muscles, holding contractions versus a big bar and loaded lever weights and things.
Yeah, so it's pretty much impossible. Like we've been around in a business for 8 years. We're doing now currently, we're doing maybe 15,000 personal training sessions a month. We haven't had an injury. Like you can't get injured with Speedfit because you're doing very small moves. It's very limited. You don't have any sharp moves. You don't have any, like you don't need to get warm up, because it's pretty much just pure muscle contraction. We have the system how we kind of progressing with the setups. So you can't injure yourself. It's very, very controlled environment. It's always 2 clients at a time. So there's not like we don't do any group sessions. And it's pretty much limited. And also when we're talking how we're activating the people who are completely unfit and very high risk level from injury point of view, Imagine you want to have someone who is maybe older, haven't been in a gym for many, many years. We're talking about the body shape really, really weak, muscles are not ready, and so a lot of inflammation probably in their body because the nutrition was not good as well. Like putting that person into the gym environment, you know that it's like really asking for a disaster. With Speedfit, we can get these people pretty much hooked up to this machine, getting activated their muscles, contracting them with very safe way, sometimes just standing and holding the bar and maybe going on tippy toes up and down for a couple of weeks until they're really getting a bit stronger, losing a bit of weight, body's getting adapting. And then we might move them still holding the bar, for example, and doing a little bit of squats. And then we progress to lunges. And we've seen many times that we could get person from completely unfit, completely a person who couldn't push themselves to do anything else. Like for them to actually even lift the weight will be kind of risk. But because the technology that we're using, engaging so many muscles at the same time, it's pretty much also increasing your stamina because it's creating that high intensity interval session. So your heart rate go up, the muscles get engaged. So you're pretty much simulating every aspect of high intensity interval training, but you're pretty much standing and just doing your repetitions with very safe environment. And as we go, we progress these people through. And sometimes in 6 months, these people feel so confident, so good. They go to the gyms, they go and start doing some sports. Then they get injured and come back to us. And that cycle continues.
Oh, that's clever. And I would assume, it's almost a rhetorical question, their speed of learning the movements, literally it can be immediate. They know how to do a movement at Speedfit rather than literally taking someone between 2 weeks to 6 months to learn a squat or a deadlift, right?
Absolutely. And reality is many of our clients don't even want to do it. We're talking our core demographic will be 45 plus females. They want to make sure that they can enjoy their lives better. They want to make sure that the body looks better. A lot of clients want to kind of carry off the groceries. They want to pick up their grandchildren. They want to have the functional things in their life. They're not really interested to do any kind of like a specific technique in a gym because all they just want to feel better. They want to feel stronger and just carry on with their life. Yeah,
absolutely. You nailed it, the 45-year-old female. I'll talk to that demographic in a second. You know, you're talking about not needing any warm-up. You know, my warm-up in the gym, literally, I take about 20 minutes. That's a long time to get my mind right, move my body around, and then I hit so I'm in the gym for 40 to 60 minutes, but I'm doing 20 minutes of work, maybe 30 minutes if it's a lot. But my warm-up's 20 minutes alone. Hopefully a little bit wiser and definitely a lot older. But that 45-year-old female, you know, let's paint that picture, and that's mostly my demographic with the coaching clients is a 35 to 55-year-old female, 75% female versus male. You know, a lot of them have used cardio, and that's the wrong term, but they've used running or biking and all these things to try and stay in shape, and it doesn't work. I mean, I posted about that last week, some studies that you need to do resistance training because when they've hit 45 years old and they're premenopausal, they've lost all that muscle. You will not lose muscle. So I was taught in university 28 years ago that after the age of 30, you lose half a kilo of muscle a year. That was a fact in research. But what they failed to mention was that's correct if you don't use that muscle. So it was only in groups that didn't use muscles. But most of those people that see us, they've lost all that muscle from 30 years on because they're inactive. Now, you painted the picture of you and I. We run after the kids, we run the business, and we hardly get time for ourselves. And then we go and we're mentally still able to go and hit it, and then we get injured or we've lost the muscle that kept us safe. And that 45-year-old female literally just wants to tick the box and keep that muscle on her. They're not going to grow huge, but it's so important to be strength trained for fat loss and for injury risk. And, of course, picking up after the kids. I mean, we talked about deadlifting, didn't we? Mums deadlift 40 kilos all through the day with no warm-up. They pick up the kids, don't they?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They do that functional movements, but they don't see it that way. And I think a big thing is about, again, we go back to marketing probably, because I'm that generation, you probably too, our clients as well. We've seen so many times when we're young that you need to go in running, and that's what makes you be like fit and lean. And I think that's what is just kind of like that, the picture that you really need to do that cardio to be in shape, otherwise you're not. And as you get back to science, the science says something opposite, but the picture that most of the people have got when it comes to losing weight, it's pretty much just running around.
Yeah, absolutely. I had this conversation with my partner the other day, and it's great that the Olympics has been on. Let's get the listeners and the viewers thinking, look at the marathon runner, the female marathon runner who won, and then look at the female sprinters and which body is more functional, which body's leaner. Those marathon runners, they run off all their muscle. They're leanish, but in comparison to the sprinters and the 200-meter runners and the 400-meter runners, and then you got the decathletes that is a true functional athlete, they're very, very different. And running's great if you want to be a runner, or if you want to be a caveman ancestral hunter. But yeah, I say to people, running's not the best way to get lean. Keep your muscle, eat correctly, eat functional, I guess, and don't get injured like you and I do in shape.
Yeah, when I saw in Olympics the beach volleyball, an Australian team was smashing it, and when you see the people how looks the girls look like there, I was like, oh, my girls should do that. Like even the jumping, you can see, the body structure was amazing. Yeah, it's very, very lean. Yeah. Actually,
that's interesting. I spoke to my physio about this. Very, very cool guy here, and to get better at jumping, we often think, oh, you better squat, better lunge. And looking at, I think it was a Slovakian basketball team?
No, it was Slovenia.
Slovenia, I'm sorry. Yeah. They were amazing, but you know, those guys, they've got about a 20-degree bend in the knee to jump and dunk. Yeah. And the beach volleyball is the same thing. They're jumping off their calves and that spring and elastic energy. And that's actually some of the movements you guys are doing in Speedfit, I remember.
Yes. Yeah, like we're trying to pretty much use all these traditional functional movements with the EMS and with very controlled environment without putting any loading. So we don't do any floor exercises. Most of them are while you're standing, and with that combination of that EMS, it's giving you that strength that you were talking about. So it's pretty much we're working their muscles, and that's what's giving results to our clients.
So for those people listening, you know, literally a Google search on Speedfit, one word, get straight into speedfit.com.au's website. But let's move on a little bit from how cool Speedfit workouts are and the low injury risk and the functional and so time efficient. Let's move into, you know, I met you guys, you had one little studio in Northbridge in Perth, Western Australia. And now I've seen you grow. What made you decide to grow? Where and how did it happen? How did this really push out to Australia-wide?
To be honest, it's all related again, come back to the mainstream and to the marketing, because you can have amazing product and you know that it's helping to people, but until people know about it, it doesn't really help you. And they don't know what they want until someone show them, if that makes sense. So we had that product. You're very right. We had one studio in Northbridge, and we thought that we have the best product and everyone would love to come and do it. The opposite was true. It was a real struggle for a couple of years until we managed to get on TV, specifically on Channel 7 and Today Tonight, when we first time kind of convinced the kind of statewide TV to come and see what we're doing. We had some of our clients kind of talking about the benefits. We had also professional athletes testing it out and kind of commenting what his experience was. And that pretty much changed our business model from business from overnight. I remember we were about to actually pack our bags and almost go back because we were running out of money. Pretty much we thought like, okay, this is not working. We can't really get it running. We were doing maybe 40 sessions a week. And even the clients that were getting really good results, they didn't want to share that they're using Speedfit because it was something very edgy, it felt like cheating. And they wanted to be perceived like, no, I'm the old school guy, or I still have a time to go 3 times a week to the gym. I manage all that. That's why I'm looking so good. They didn't want to tell that, hey, I'm going to some place in Norwich, hooked up for 20 minutes to some machine, and that's what I'm looking like. It's almost like the plastic surgery. No one wants to really say that they done it. Everyone's like, no, I was born that way. So that was a challenge from that point of view. But once we get on TV, pretty much overnight, we went from, as I said, 40 sessions probably a week to 250 sessions a week. And that's changed completely our business. And because we then knew what we're doing and the clients had amazing results, they started to be much more proud because it was now kind of on TV. We had big momentum, and we realized that we want to help as many people as possible because, as I mentioned, that specific demographic that we're helping, they don't have many options. Usually they could go and do maybe yoga, maybe they can do Pilates. It's not much that they will not go to the gym. They don't see benefits going and lifting the weights and so on. But we see it's almost kind of our mission to go there and help them out and make sure that we can take care of these clients. So that was just the natural progression to open as many locations as possible to help as many people as we can. Because it's just amazing. You go to work, you do your job, and then at the end of the day, you have much more like fitter people around yourself, happier, healthier. It's just amazing outcome of my everyday work.
And let's be real. We were talking about this the other day. I'm lucky enough in my job, running my own business, I can go and train and fit it in. People that work 9 to 5, they can't fit in and out. And research shows if you go and train within 4 hours of sleep, that screws up your sleep pattern. So that if you're going to go finish at work at 5, head off to the gym, smash yourself to pieces, then get home, have dinner, your stress is through the roof, your time efficiency is poor. Fitting in a 20-minute workout literally once a week or whatever time frame you're talking about, every 4 to 8 days, it's very achievable. It's very clever, Matej. So, yeah, it's something that people should look at. I guess moving on, let's talk about where your locations are in the cities through Australia.
So currently, we are based here in WA. So most of our studios are based in WA. We're just opening actually around 5 locations just in pretty much like next month or so in WA. So we should hit 20 locations in WA by end of this calendar year. Then we already expanded to Victoria. We have 3 locations over there in Melbourne, and we have 6 locations currently in New South Wales. We're just finalizing the locations in South Australia and ACT. So we're slowly expanding across Australia. And me personally, planning to move next year to East Coast. It's been postponed a few times because of the current situations with COVID and so on. But that's pretty much the next stage of the growth of Speedfit to try and bring the technology to as many people as we can, because we see the amazing results we can do here. And WA now become pretty much the capital of EMS in Australia, because we have 20 locations here just as Speedfit. We probably own more than 50% of the EMS market in Australia. So if you combine all these EMS businesses, probably in Sydney, there's not as many as we have alone in WA.
Oh, brilliant. I didn't really realize. Are you saying there's sort of copies out there as well?
Because the technology itself, you need to understand the EMS technology itself, it's a free technology. So you can use it for any different aspects, like professional athletes. If you go to Europe, a lot of professional clubs, the sports clubs will own the machine, and it might be different machine in any way, and they might use it for, again, different reasons. The same thing, you can utilize this machine for different things. And what we did, we built the business around that EMS technology to deliver that convenience. That's why it's the specific moves. That's why it's 20-minute session. That's why we have pre-workout drink, post-workout drink. That's why we have full equipped showers to make sure that you really can just be so efficient. You don't need to bring gym clothes and so on and so on. But someone else can use the technology, and there are some businesses in Australia who are using the technology, and they're trying to use it more kind of like a group setting. They might use like high intensity interval training, which kind of enhancing the movements that you do, but it's not as maybe core of exercise as we do. But the technology itself, the core is the same. They just use it in a different way. Yeah,
I can see you've, like I said near the start, I interview the best people in the world at what they do, and you don't reinvent the wheel.
Yes. No, in EMS world, absolutely not. It's just the way how we utilize that specific technology and bring it back to people, because you might have the best technology, as I said at the very beginning, but if people don't know about it or they don't see the benefits. So our job is pretty much to package it in a way that people go, okay, this is what I can do, and really attract people to come and use it. That was a challenge from us for marketing, because a lot of these non-gym goers, they're not actively searching that, hey, I want to be fit. Because they might be thinking, look, there is a gym. I don't like the gym. There might be maybe Pilates. I don't really like Pilates. So, okay, that's it. I gave up. I might go and walking. The 90% of our clients, when we ask them what they do for an exercise, they will say walking, because that's what they see. Okay, there's nothing out there for me. So we need to do that education, and we need to show them, hey, this is actually the way you can still be active. You can still activate your muscles. You can have all the benefits of strength training without actually going to the gym or without lifting any weight. And so the educational part is a big thing, and that's what we're trying to package, that we can actually reach to those people and help them.
That's awesome. It's interesting you mentioned that, because I talk about the best diet in the world, and we all know that 98% of diets fail, but the best diet for you is the diet that you can do, will do, and it works. And I've never, ever thought about it with exercise, Matej, but literally it's, can they do it? Yes, we know they can, because literally just put on the vest, follow the exact instructions. They can do it of any ability. They will, if they choose that, they will do it. They will walk into a studio. Literally, there's not surrounded by, you don't have the stigma of being watched. That they will do it. If they choose, they will do it. And we know it works from everything you've spoken about. It's obviously a winning formula. And at 15,000 personal training sessions per month, man, that's unreal.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Like, I don't know if someone actually does more in Australia. I don't know, like maybe some gyms maybe combine or something. But because we specialize in personal training, it's hard to say if someone does more. But exactly, you're right. Like, it's the same thing with the diet. You can have the best diet in the world if no one's really focused or following the diet. It's not relevant. So that's what we're trying to do. We had to, as I mentioned, with this 15 minutes versus 20 minutes, there are some things that you might be more efficient, but if you don't package it in a way that actually it speaks to the clients and they see that they can start using it, you're not creating any impact. And we really want to impact as many people as we can.
Yeah, that's really clever, man. That's really cool. Look, I touched on where people could find you, but I'll get it from your mouth. Where can people find you on the socials, and where can people find you literally on the internet and maybe physically as well?
Yeah, pretty much speedfit.com.au will does the job. You will find all this information about what we do. You will find the research relevant to you as well if you have some specific injuries or any problems. And then you will find a list of locations. Obviously now the East Coast is all in the lockdown, but so we're running in WA only at this stage, but pretty much you will see a list of all the locations. As I mentioned, all the locations coming up, 5 in WA. So you will have all the relevant information over there. Awesome.
Yeah, look, I love that you got lots of locations through Perth. I'm going to jump in and get to my closest one, I think, very soon. Look, Matej, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. And as I started, congratulations on such a successful business. Congratulations on your persistence, and it's great to see how it's gone.
Thank you so much, Damien, for having me. And yeah, it was a pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Brilliant.
Thank you.
See you next time.